All right, I'm recording. Very nice. So, if you watched my last video where I explained why I haven't been uploading for quite a long while, I also mentioned the Pokemon Draft League, community being in a sort of discussion whether the Pokemon Draft League meta is like boring, stale, is the Pokemon Draft League community dead? Is it a dead meta? And I've actually watched some videos of other people talking about this, like Under the Radar, Matt O'Shea, the original one from Dr. Slacking. I watched a few snippets of Automatic's video about this discussion, and I've watched the Flying Birds video, which also got into more depth about whether the Draft League style is dead. And I will make sure that all of the people that I mentioned, their videos will be in the description below. So if you haven't checked those videos out yet, I suggest you do, because some of these people are much more smarter when it comes to the Draft League style, when it comes to the Draft League community. But I mentioned in my last video that I wanted to actually make a video of my own, talking about my own experiences, talking about whether I think the meta is bland, boring, dead, still, whatever. I will make sure there's like timestamps so that you can go to each and own category where I'm talking about. Because let's just start from the beginning. I've been playing Draft League from 2016 to about 2020. I think 2020 is when I had my last Draft League match, and I stopped playing Draft League not because I think it's boring, but because I'm getting older, other interests, no more time. But I have been thinking about coming back into Draft League. Like, I have been thinking about making YouTube videos again on a regular basis, and I miss doing Draft Leagues. And if there's an opportunity that arises for me to come back in doing Draft Leagues, Showdown, because I'm not interested in Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi takes a lot more time than Showdown. But yeah, I've started like in the FBL days with Liv, who was then known by a different name. You had the Flying Bird back then, and a lot of other people. And the first 2 seasons of the FBL, like, those were my first, steps as a Draft League coach. And that was also on Showdown, and I absolutely loved it. Like, there were so many good people that were so helpful towards me, like, learning me the steps of doing Draft Leagues, especially Liv, who also later invited me to the BBL, which is a Uber league, which I did delve into Wi-Fi, and eventually also back again with Showdown. And after the FBL, I kind of had a dip. Then I had some other leagues that I competed in. And eventually, as I mentioned before, I got back with Liv in the BBL, and the BBL is probably one of the most fun, most energizing leagues I've been in. Like, a lot of good people there, and the whole meta itself, like Ubers, is such a fun, part of the Draft League table. Like, Ubers is so fun to play, and I hope I can one day delve back into that. But in all these years that I played Draft League, I never thought Draft League was boring, but I do understand where the idea of Draft League being boring is coming from, because as a competitor, Draft League is fun. Like, if you play Draft League, like if you actually delve more into Draft League, like in terms of like strategizing, making your own drafts, like the BBL, which is like a completely different meta than normal Draft League. Like, there's so many things that spice Draft League up. But as a content, as something you want to put on YouTube, I do understand why people think Draft League is boring. Because I've watched some of my own videos back when I did Draft Leagues, both live com as post commentary, both Showdown as Wi-Fi. And I'm not surprised that not a lot of people are watching those, because I can even stand listening to myself. Now, there is an exception. There are a lot of content creators out there who does do draft leagues and who are entertaining. Like Under the Radar is one of those. I think Liv, when Liv was still doing draft league, was quite entertaining, personally for me. Matt O'Shea, Kyle A, when Kyle A did draft league, there were so many good, entertaining content creators who can also play good in draft league, but also can entertain you guys as a viewer. I know I can do that. I do think that when I do post commentary, I'm much more fun to listen to than when I do live commentary, because when you do post commentary, you can at least, spice things up to make it more entertaining for the viewer. But when you do a live commentary of like a Wi-Fi draft league match or a showdown draft league match, you're so into the game. Like most draft league competitors are so into the game that, commentating for the viewer at that point is not the first thing that pops up into your mind. The first thing that pops up into your mind is when you're doing draft league, you're fully focused on the match. You have, like, for instance, some people have like a damage calc next to besides them to help them, with the match, and they're like calculating, they're with the match, calculating, okay, shall I do this? And I know and I understand why that is like boring for people to watch, and why a lot of people think that the draft league meta in terms of like content is boring. But I do think that the draft league, playing draft league itself as a competitor, there are so many ways to entertain yourself with draft leagues. And this is a great segue to another thing that is going around, and that is that a lot of people think that the draft league meta is still. And I think Matt O'Shea said that in his video, but the meta is only still if you still are doing the same thing when drafting your team and playing your matches. If you're going to draft the same team over and over again, the same months over and over again, I can understand why at some point you think that the meta is boring. Like for me personally, like I'm not a great coach. Like I'm not even a mediocre coach. I want to say I'm below average when it comes to being a coach. But where I find my joy when doing draft leagues is most of the time when I did draft, I look at the tier lists, and most of the times like I have the same months that I want to draft. Like I think Torkoal is one of the mons that I almost draft now because I enjoy using Torkoal. I think it's a beast. Torkoal in Ubers is a beast. But like sometimes I'm also like, you know what? I want to use that mon. And most of the time I want to use mons that are considered bad because I want to use them, try using them in a format or in a strategy that I'm comfortable with, and then try to make a bad mon work in draft league format. I try that many times, and every time I do that, I try to use different kinds of mons from lower tier, even from higher tier mons. I try to use mons that are considered bad sometimes because I want to make them work. I want to make it interesting for myself, and I want to have fun while doing that. Because for me, when I do draft leagues, like I think I reached the semi-finals of 2 draft leagues. Like, yeah, I reached top 4 in 2 draft leagues. I think the PMC, I reached the semi-finals. And I think in one of the latest seasons where I was in, I think the minus league of the BBL, I also reached semi-finals. So I've reached like top 4 2 times when doing draft leagues in 4 years. Most of the times, quarterfinals a few times, but I lost more than I can count my wins. But the thing is with doing draft leagues, for me personally, when I do draft leagues, I try to have fun. That's why I said, like, I don't care about winning, I don't care about losing. I'm caring about making it entertaining for myself. And in that way, I hope to make it entertaining for the persons that are viewing my draft league matches on YouTube. I try to be entertaining. Even though I'm boring when it sometimes comes to my commentary, I try to have fun. And when you have fun, it's not boring to lose, and it's not boring to win sometimes, because when you're having fun, you know, you're not doing something that is boring. That's logical sense. Like, if you think the format is still because you are drafting, like, let's say you can draft a team of 10 months, and from those 10 months, 7 or 8 months are the same months you're using, or it's like the same style you're using each and every season in a draft league, yeah, it becomes boring, it becomes stale. So my advice to anybody who's trying out draft league, or if you're watching this, try to innovate, try to experiment, try to have fun, and try out new things. And the same thing can apply for like doing draft league in general. Like I think Under the Radar said that in his video, like that somebody suggested like a randomized draft league competition. Like if something happened, if something comes around like a random draft league, I'm eager to play in that. Like, sign me up. Like, I don't know what I'm getting, I'm fine with that, because that makes it interesting for me to actually compete in matches. And yeah, like, draft league is not boring. It's only boring for most of the viewers, because, you know, most people that are doing draft league and record themselves, like, they're not focusing like on commentary, they're focusing on the match. But draft league in itself is not boring. Draft league is fun, especially with the right people around you and with the right community around you. Draft league is so fun. I prefer draft league over VGC every day of the week, every week of the month, every month of the year, etc. And when it comes to the format, like I mentioned Hubris before, Hubris is a great format. And if you try to innovate, if you try to experiment, draft league can be very fun, and it won't be still. Like, I have never felt that the format that I've been playing in every draft league match, and I've played in a few, I never thought to myself, this is not, I'm feeling bored, I don't like this anymore. But now we can talk about, like, okay, we now know that, okay, the draft league community like is still like in uproar. Like, hey, some people think it's boring as a content, like as something you can watch on YouTube. Some people think it's getting stale. Like, there's like also a discussion around Wi-Fi versus Showdown, and I think Matt O'Shea actually pointed it out perfectly. Like, we should not divide the groups. Like, we should accept the whole group, Wi-Fi, Showdown, whatever, as one draft league community. And I think if we actually, you know, put our heads, like I've been not doing draft league, so it feels weird for me to say this, but if the community comes together and actually, you know, think about manners, think about ways. I'm not from English is not my first language, so sorry if this is your first time watching me. Like, why is this kid brabbling all about? Like, English is not my first language, so sometimes I have to find the words. But if the community can actually find ways to make it more entertaining, and also to, you know, bring in new people, like, and that comes to my last topic, is draft league dead? Draft league is not dead. I still see people uploading. I still see some people getting good views for the type of content that they're bringing out. Draft league is not dead. Flying Bird said it as well. Draft league is not dead. There's just, you know, not much going around. Like, I've heard that the Wi-Fi community is kind of slowing down, but that's because, you know, some people don't like the timer, and some people don't want to go all the extra way for LAN, like for the chess timer and such. By the way, chess timer is much better than the 60-minute timer, and like Pokemon should actually bring back the timer, but if they give the option for chess timer as well, that would even be better, because you know, I've been looking into the chess timer bit. I had never played chess timer myself. I don't know even if Showdown has chess timer, but I know chess timer is much more convenient for players in a way that it also motivates people to think fast while in a match, and it actually rewards people for thinking like 4 or 5 turns ahead. So like chess timer, if they can actually implement that in Wi-Fi matches in the future, like in actual games. Like maybe I could actually, you know, play, you know, Wi-Fi again. But again, I've said it before, Wi-Fi takes a lot of time for me personally, so I rather prefer Showdown first. But yeah, like the Draft League community is not dead. There are still a lot of good content creators out there making Draft League content. There are still a lot of entertaining Draft League content creators out there who's making Draft League content. But you know, the Draft League's the Draft League community, the scene as a whole, has been, you know, dropped in popularity a little bit, and that's understandable with the whole timer thing, with the whole Pokemon going from 3DS to 2DS, 3DS, which was much more of a convenient device than going to the Switch, which, yes, a Switch does mean a lot of more people can maybe join in, but it's also much more difficult to actually organize something and, you know, build something up. Whereas with Showdown, you can still, like, open up your laptop, open up your PC, open up Showdown, boom, you can actually go ahead and play it. That's why I've heard a lot of people saying that the Showdown community, the Showdown Draft League scene is still, you know, up and strong, but the Wi-Fi scene is a little bit going down. But, you know, maybe we should indeed just focus on the Draft League community as a whole and just try to, you know, as I said before with the word innovate, try to bring back the community and bring back that old feeling, like, okay, how can we make it more interesting? Like, one of the things that I always enjoyed was the Token Minorities March Madness. I don't know if that is still around, but that's a good way to bring in more people and to, you know, boost maybe the Draft League community, which is doing speed tours, doing tours, tournaments, bringing more people, maybe organize more tournaments in different kinds of meta. Maybe we should add commentators to matches. Like I think that's also mentioned in Under the Radar's video, is where people suggest, like, let other people commentate over other people's matches and then upload that on either channel, like, to, you know, bring in more people to either watch and maybe play Draft Leagues. And I actually think that's a good idea. I actually think let other people commentate over the match, so that the people that don't or aren't comfortable with at the same time commentating while playing the games, they can focus on the games, and then other people can actually commentate over them, which makes it, you know, more cohesive. And if you then upload that and make it, like, you know, enjoyable to watch, in the sense of that, you know, with pretty layouts, pretty graphics, etc. Like, you should not come to me with that, because I'm bad at graphics. Have you seen my YouTube channel? No, but there's so many good ideas in the community to, you know, maybe improve something that's already fun, and maybe with that boost the popularity again. And again, maybe I'm not the one to talk about that, because I have been away from the Draft League community for like a year, 1.5 years maybe. I am trying to maybe make a comeback in the future, but I saw this discussion, like, Draft League, is it boring? Is it still? Is it dead? And I thought to myself, like, has it dipped down in popularity? Yeah, maybe. Is it boring to watch as something on YouTube? Yeah, take my videos for example. But is Draft League boring to play as a player yourself? No. Is Pokemon Draft League stale, as in the meta you're playing is boring? Only if you make it boring yourself by doing the same thing over and over again, and not try to innovate and not try to spice things up for yourself to make it more enjoyable for yourself. Because I understand that there's, like, some people that desperately want to win, like, a tournament, and that's fine. But if that comes to a cost of you losing your enjoyment of playing Draft League, then maybe it's time to switch something up, so that you can actually discover your enjoyment, what made Draft League so fun to begin with. Like, I can name for examples, like I've used Murkrow in the past with C-Move. I've used Torkoal, offensive Torkoal in a Hubris League, the BBL, which I got 13 plus kills with that thing. I think I've used Pachirisu in the past. I've used so many bad mons just to make them work. And every time I think about it, I'm like, that is what Draft League makes so enjoyable for me personally. Like, using mons you don't expect using, like, even if you play a game for the first time, or if you're playing it for yourself on a Let's Play, you're not thinking like, I'm going to use that mon. But with a Draft League, there comes a moment where you can actually use like a mon that is considered bad, or you're not thinking about using it in your life, you're using it in Draft League, and then if you can actually make it work, you feel like, oh my god, this is fun. But that's just me personally. Maybe it works differently for others. And like, last thing that I want to talk about is the toxicity, maybe, in the community, the elitism, is that a good word? In the community, where there's a lot of people that like just are too, they're too, like, how can I actually explain it? I'm not gonna edit this out, but they're too stuck in their own little community that they are not eager to letting other people in. And then you have the same people in the league over and over and over and over again, and that itself can also become boring. That itself can also, you know, make it stale if you battle with the same people over and over and over again. But that's a choice some people made. And with toxicity, because I think Automatic said that in his video, and of course there's always going to be toxic people, and I think the Draft League community as a whole already knows when they can pick the bad seeds out of their community and kick them out if they do something bad. I think it happened over the past couple of years that did happen. So I do think that, of course, you're going to have like toxic people, or people that are going to shit over you if you lose a match by, like, I have happened that in the past with myself, where I totally butcher a match and like got a little bit crap for it, and that's always bad, and that's like for some people a reason to stop doing draft leagues or stop making content. And obviously we need to change that, but I already think that a lot of things have changed from when I played Draft League, when there was a lot more toxicity, I think, in the community. And now there's like, yeah, there's less of that. There's still people out there who are doing that, but I do think that there's like less toxicity than like 6 years ago, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I do think that the community as a whole is still flourishing. There's still a lot of great people in the community, and there's just a lot of things that we could change maybe to make Draft League more enjoyable to watch. But when it comes to the format, when it comes to Draft League itself, I don't think it's boring. I think there's still a lot of fun and entertaining things that you can do as a player. And yeah, that's basically my opinion about the whole matter. I think there's in the back of my head that I'm forgetting about something, but I think I covered most of what I wanted to say for this video. I will make sure, of course, that the videos that I mentioned before in the beginning of the video and throughout this video, that they will be in the description below. I will make sure that there's timestamps for everything. Like, I will, after I've uploaded the video, I'll make sure the timestamps are in the video. But like, I'm thinking, is there anything else I want to talk about? I should have maybe write things down. You can totally see that I haven't been recording videos for quite a while, because my, you know, preparements to actually do this is rubbish. But I've been talking about for 25 minutes. I think I need to quit this because I didn't want this to be over the 30 minutes. So, if there's like anything you want to talk about in the comment section below, based on what I said in this video, let me know in the comment section below, because I'm always up for a little bit of discussion. I'm always up for something interesting to talk about. And yeah, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, share this video with us, slash the subscribe button down below, and hit the bell icon, because then you get notified every time I upload a new video, and it is sincerely appreciated. And yeah, expect more videos in the future. I'm still not sure what I actually want to do, but if I'm going to make a comeback as a draft league coach, which I do maybe want to do that, then you will obviously hear that here on YouTube or on my Twitter. And yeah, otherwise you'll see me on YouTube whenever I feel like uploading. But that was it. I will see you guys next time, and have a nice day, evening, morning, whatever. Bye bye.